So that piece of wood that I used up at the top there, you see it's a little bit too short and a little bit too thin. So what I've decided to do there is just to put in another piece that goes across those two last joists. So I have a piece here that was kind of an offcut from one of them. So I'm just going to cut this one down to 9 centimetres thick. So I'll just take a little bit off that edge, and then further along the right distance, I think it is already 9. So you see, I put my eye on that edge and then I put my eye on that edge. That's how I measure these things from using eye. You have to move your eye from one side to the other so it's vertical over the image, over the thing that you're trying to discern. I just put this as straight as I can. It doesn't matter about the curvature because that will just be, as long as I put it down in, I can't explain now, I'm going to get into the mode of doing this. Take a bit from both sides really. That's a little bit flat on the top edge. It's a little bit easy to screw things into that. And at the other end, I think it's already about right there. Do a little bit. I can't remember the distance. Was it 160? Was it? Yeah, it's 160. Should do it. I think it's a little bit under, but it doesn't really matter if it's a little bit under because the other one is the correct height on the other side. The next one in. Just the outside one that I'm trying to get correct. I don't have a GoPro or anything, so it's a bit difficult to film while I'm working, but if I can probably just do this one-handed. See, it really doesn't matter that the piece of wood is curved because it's just one plane I'm after, the one surface. And it's supposed to stick out 20 centimetres like that. Need to go up a little bit there. I'm going to have to. I don't think I can film this, sorry. So what I'm doing now is just putting this board at the top, and then on top of that there'll be a T-piece at the top which keeps the gap in the middle between the plates waterproof. It's not completely waterproof. Okay, that's not long enough to do the whole board, so the next bit will be on the bit on top, which is I'm going to put on another, I'm going to cut a piece here from that piece there, which is 6 centimetres. I'll just do that with a little circle saw. And I'll nail that to the top of that one, and then so you see that then gets nailed onto those green, on these glazing bars, and should be good. I haven't put the putty in here yet, so this needs to all dry out properly. I didn't have another machine with me. I would have used it if I'd had, because that was a bit too much for that machine really. This one has a tendency to get hot in the handle where the cables that are delivering the electricity to from the battery to the machine are too thin. They're too small, so they produce a lot of heat. That might be a safety feature, I don't know. But certainly they have melted in the past, so I've had to replace them, I think, or do some repairs. It was a long time ago now, I don't quite remember. I've had that machine for about 6 years, I think. 5 or 6 years. These boards are not as long as the building, so there's 1.50 metre extra to go onto the top of that one at the top there. To connect to the end. I suppose you might call it a ridge board in English, that one at the top there. I think we call it murmur come. There we go, now that has to be connected to this. That should just drop into the gap. So it's that much height, and then with the T-piece on top, to be like that in the building. And the T-piece. I've got some impregnated material there which I'm going to use from the old greenhouse to go on the top. So it doesn't make a waterproof roof when it's windy, but it's good enough for rain, vertical rain, which is all I'm after. I've decided what to do. might just use screws from underneath to pull it down a little bit inside, and then I'll fix those on the top as well. But it doesn't really need it because it's not really going anywhere. Maybe I'll just do it at one in the middle and one at each end. Rather than four, so I might as well just do it. Well, it's going to be a lot of noise from the building work today. Just have to bear with that. So that's that board on the top. Now I'm just going to put the one that goes on the top. It's an old one I got from the greenhouses. The same place where I got the glass for the roof there. Well, it's seen better days, this stuff. There we go. That's how they're going to go together. And I just need to route out this channel a bit. I don't have a router with me, so I'm just going to use the circle saw for that. But I've run out of battery now. Do a little bit of work on the gables there, put some end boards on, windshield, maybe level out the ground a little. I've been moving the earth from one side to the other to level it slightly. That's the siren for an explosion of rocks. A bit windy today. So by putting that on the pitch of the roof, it gives you the exact it gives you the correct angle when you put your spirit level on it. As long as it's correct. It has to be vertical this way as well. You just have to get used to that kind of thing. So at the other end it worked really well. Let's see if this works well. If not, you just have to cut between them with the saw once they're up a bit. It's not very easy doing this alone. This is easier to be done by two people. But, I can't fix that one yet because that other end there has to be cut off. Well, that's quite good. There's kind of two ways of doing this. Either I can put another board on top there and that go over the top. I think I'm going to do that, yeah. So there'll be another board here and then one on top. One on top's called an east board, an ice board. Isn't that kind of not really necessary in a way, but it's nice to keep the ends of these pieces of wood dry. That's what that does. Keeps the ends dry because they, of course, would suck humidity in, moisture, and rot faster. But these outdoors buildings here in Norway, they last a long time because it's such a dry climate normally. I think I might put one here as well, actually, a board. No, stops the snow from going in. It should be tin really, or, you know, some kind of aluminium or something. Oh, maybe I've got some. Alright, the place where I put the putty, of course, that's that's all dripping in there because the putty is stopping the water from flowing down. The other ones are surprisingly good. I mean, it's not waterproof, is it, at the moment without the putty, supposedly, but it doesn't look that bad. And didn't blow off in the high wind these last couple of days, and it didn't seem to make any difference with the snow falling on it, so I'm quite happy with all of that. I would just like to answer a query about what my reflections are about this building type, and if there's anything of note that I would like to say about it. So I've written this little speech, so let's just go. This is the last film in the Grindbygg series. Thanks to all of you who've taken the time to watch the films and share my experiment with me. I had a store of timber that was in danger of being damaged due to neglect. It was getting discoloured, and that would make it difficult to sell to a customer. I thought that by making it into something useful, I'd stop it from going to waste. It has been a time-consuming project that may not seem like a very effective use of my time, using a lot of hand tools and felling trees, and taking little steps as I learn about the building type while the job is underway, working short days and filming, which doubles the time used. But the lessons learned on a journey like this are very valuable. It opens up practices from the past that may have since been rationalised or industrialised and hence fallen into disuse. Industrial building systems are often motivated by profit margin. Here, no profit margin is needed, so the kind of rationalisation of a process to achieve a widened gap between the cost and the value is unnecessary. If we don't understand the value of a building, we cannot justify the cost either. I've worked in the restoration and repair of handmade houses for years. So I see that many modern people simply don't understand the value of the old buildings in their communities. As my understanding grows about ancient building systems, I see that though they can be low-tech, they are nevertheless advanced. Advanced slowly in small steps, finding clever solutions to minimise effort for a maximum effect. In this case, a long-lasting building, strong in structure with minimal and locally harvested materials. A sustainable system that should far outlast the material regeneration time of the trees consumed. It'll create a shelter for more creative endeavours in the future and for future generations. Not all of this work is experimental for me though. I've used local traditional knowledge about how a wooden building can survive in this climate, which was passed on to me by tradition bearers here in Norway. Where you are, the traditions may be preserved or lost, and whether they are depends on what we decide is valuable for the future. Like and subscribe.